welcome to episode 13 of the My Journey podcast. We've had some big news since last time we spoke. We've had 1,000 listens to this podcast so far. That's absolutely incredible. So thank you to everybody who has downloaded, followed, streamed this podcast. It's been incredible. Thank you very much. So for those of you that are new to the podcast and this is your first time listening, my name's Matt Johnson and I'm a social media marketer who is fascinated by individuals and their personal brands. Therefore, I set up this podcast, the My Journey podcast, to discover how people have made it to the top of their chosen career. So far, we've spoken to people like Drew Povey from Educate in Manchester, Le Mans winning race driver Guy Smith, and comedian Callie Beaton. You'll be able to find all of those episodes wherever you get your podcasts from, so do go back and have a listen. And if you enjoy the podcast and want to receive the latest episodes as soon as they're available, make sure to subscribe and leave a review. But on to today's episode. We're speaking to a guy called Paul Regan, who is a skateboarder and MMA fighter. And if that wasn't interesting enough, he's also got some fascinating side projects which are helping him give back to kids who were like he was back at school. So, here it is, episode 13 of the My Journey podcast with Paul Regan. Hello Paul, welcome to the My Journey podcast. How are you today?
I'm not too bad, thank you.
Good. So we're going to start right at the beginning, as I do with most of my guests, and we're going to work our way through your career, seeing where it takes us along the way. So I've read that you went to Hornsey School and Sixth Form College, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and how was school life for you?
Just a typical kid, you know. Just a typical kid causing mischief.
Right, okay.
As per.
Yeah. And at that time, did you know that you wanted to become a skateboarder or a mixed martial artist, or was there something else planned for the horizon?
No, not all. When you're at school, you don't know what you're going to do. I skated when I was at school.
Right.
And before that, I did, obviously my karate and whatnot, but I didn't think it'd develop into a career. Obviously, I wanted to. As a kid, it'd be nice to be a skateboarder or whatever, but you don't really sort of plan on it, do you?
No. And then you went to Bishop Burton to, I've got it written down, land-based engineering and horticulture. Was that a bit more of a, let's see if we can get some qualifications to get onto a specific career kind of thing?
No, well, I left sixth form. I did the AS levels and I went into A2, but I was doing graphic design and I don't know, the second year I wasn't really interested. I just lost motivation. I took a year out and worked at my grandma's pub and did landscaping there, and obviously pulled some pints and whatnot, helped out there. And I thought, I quite enjoy this, doing the landscaping. And then I did some work for my dad and then worked on a golf course. And I thought, right, I'm going to try and maybe get an apprenticeship just because I like being more practical.
Yeah. So
I went to Bishop Burton and did land-based engineering and horticulture, and I had my apprenticeship and I did more building pergolas, doing foundations, civil engineering sort of side of it. And then I got laid off from that job when I was 20. Mm. So I had a bit of a think what I wanted to do, and I ended up going to university in London, to the South Bank University, to get back into media. So I did media and photography and design at sixth form. And I went to do digital media arts there.
Right, okay.
It was more like a forced decision though.
Right.
I didn't really, it wasn't what I really, really wanted to do. I just thought, I want to get out of home, I want to do something different. Just kind of threw myself into it, and it was the wrong decision down the line. I stayed there for about 9 a year, and it just ended up coming back.
Right, okay.
The law of Hull.
Yeah. And was that pressure from yourself in terms of you felt like you had to do something more parents, or just in general?
No, just in general, because I didn't really know what direction I wanted to go in. But when I went down there, it made me realise what I did want to do.
Right, okay. So it kind of was a positive in the end.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I enjoyed being in London. It made it, because obviously at the time I was 21, 22, and I was like, well, it was a bit boring and all. I want something to, go on. Obviously it's real lively in London, and I thought, right, I do like my media stuff, so I'll try and get back into that. And I just kind of it was a rushed decision. I didn't really think about it. I just thought, whatever, let's go do that. And
yeah.
But when I was down there, I realised that it's not what I wanted to do.
Right, okay.
So, like I said, it's blessing in disguise, I guess.
Yeah. And then you've made a career out of being a skateboarder. You said earlier that you were doing it when you were at school, and I read that came from you, just your friends were doing it and you were into the Tony Hawk kind of games. Is that basically where it came from? It was a cultural kind of thing? And
yeah, pretty much. my friend had the Tony Hawk Pro Skater game, and he came around one time and we had a go on it, and then my friend had a skateboard and I just got into it through that.
See if we can do
when I was like 12, I think it was 2 months before my 13th birthday.
Wow, so that is cool.
Done it a while.
Did you seem to have a natural affinity for it, or was it?
I just enjoyed doing it.
Right.
I was playing football at the time. I was playing football and skating. And I remember I was just kind of going off football because like you had to be there at a certain time, you had to do training, you had to do this, you had to do that, and I just liked with skating you can do it on your own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have to be part of a team. You can do it on your own. You can do it when you want to. You don't have to train for it or anything like that. You know, and you can create your own, I guess, tricks and such. So
a lot more freedom with it.
Yeah, it's freedom. It is. It's like a freedom-based sport.
Yeah. And obviously, you've had some really good experiences through skateboarding. You've been around the world a little bit and seen some cool places. What's the best place you've skated in? Obviously, don't say Hull because I'm like.
Hull's pretty good to skate. To be fair, probably Los Angeles.
Right.
That's one of the best
cool.
places I've been. I've been there about 6 or 7 times. Used to just go out there and stay there for a few weeks or a couple of months on end. Just live out there and live the whole Californian lifestyle. Or whatever.
Is it a really close knit network then?
Oh yeah, that's where it all started from.
Yeah.
So, and I did training when I was out there as well. Like went to a couple of gyms out there and did a bit of that as well.
And then you picked up some sponsors along the way as well. So how does that work in terms of? Do you go to them or do they come to you?
The first sponsorships I got was word of mouth through friends. Got a shop sponsor. The shop sponsor talked to like a shoe company because they stocked the shoes in the shop. Had a floor deal through that and worked my way up by obviously producing more coverage like magazine articles, photos, video parts, and worked my way up. And then the more sponsors, like if you get a sponsor, more sponsors want to be involved with you, especially if that sponsor's a good one.
Right,
so you get more exposure through one sponsor, and everybody else is like, oh, you ride for that company, we want to be involved, because then those sponsorships get coverage through the video parts you do for them. Your other sponsors, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's quite competitive and they all want the best.
Yeah.
And obviously you said there you were creating videos and stuff like that. Obviously you've got a bit of a media background. Did that help you in any way?
I think so. Like I've always like had myself filmed doing my own skating, but I've also filmed other people as well.
Yeah.
And that's where I got involved in the whole graphic design, art and photography and videography just because of skateboarding. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I didn't skate, maybe I probably wouldn't be involved in it as much, but I know how to edit and I know how to use videos, cameras, just from messing around doing it myself.
It's almost like a little bit of a subculture within skateboarding.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
It's really cool because I was seeing the video you did recently with KCOM.
Yeah, that's right.
And the lad next to you on the skateboard going along.
Yeah, Josh.
So to be able to skateboard and film at the same time was a bit of a skill as well.
Yeah, you have a thing called a filming board where they roll next to you. The wheels are rubber based, so you don't hear the skateboard that your friend is on.
Right,
so the microphone don't pick it up. Because it just directs towards the skating you're doing. So you can hear the rattling in the background if it's the hard wheels.
Right, okay. So that's interesting because I wouldn't have known that there were specific skateboards for
filming
for the skateboarders on.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And you did some work with Red Bull at times. Are they the biggest sponsors you've worked with? And
in terms of getting paid a bit of cash, yeah, because obviously they're loaded out, the Red Bull. But that came off the back of, so I had a sponsor called Fabric, which was my board sponsor at the time, and I did a video part for him, and then everyone said it was like a really good part, you know, which I was really grateful for. Like, I didn't expect that. I was like, bloody hell, fair enough. And then like loads of people got in touch with me. I was like, bloody hell, like, you know, I didn't expect it. And then Red Bull wanted to do stuff for me, and like I got picked up more sponsors, and I was like, okay. So I just went along with it.
Nice. And you know when you've got a sponsor in terms of, like you said, you had a board sponsor there.
Yeah.
Does that mean they tell you which board to ride, or do you get to choose from their boards?
No. They do like probably a range, like a season of boards, so the spring, summer, autumn, winter, and they produce a range of boards, and then they just send you from that range, or what? Do you know what I mean? Over the season, they'll send you them boards to advertise their company. So you do your skating, the kids or whoever, teenagers, young adults watch you skating. They see like the graphics. If you're, you know, you've done a kickflip or a 360 flip, they see the graphics like, oh, I want to ride that because he's done that trick. Yeah. That's how it works. You know, you're a walking billboard, so to speak.
And obviously I'm not involved in the skateboard world, so this might seem a bit of a dumb question, but in terms of the actual boards, are they different from company to company, or is it just the graphic?
Yeah, there's boards that use different wood shops, so there's wood shops in America, Canada, Europe, China, there's loads of different wood shops. Canadian maple and US hard rock maple are generally the best.
Right, okay.
So
if you can get a sponsor who's using them, then...
Well, yeah, any board sponsor's good as long as it's got a decent reputation, I guess, and it's what you're into. Do you know what I mean? If there's no point riding for example, I won't ride for certain companies because it doesn't suit my image. Do you know what I mean?
Okay,
so it'd be going against the grain, so to speak.
Right, okay, yeah. And then obviously you've moved into mixed martial arts a bit later on. I heard you saying that that was because things like the balance and stuff like that seemed to come as a bit of a natural progression from skateboarding, and obviously you'd done karate when you were younger as well. So
what happened with that is, like, I've skated for nearly 18 years, and then I started with karate, stopped doing that for a bit, then started boxing and kickboxing. Did that for about 8 years, and then about 3 years ago I started doing jiu-jitsu and wrestling.
Right.
So I've done quite a lot with boxing and kickboxing. I've won a few titles, been part of the England team. I was in Italy, fought at the World Championships on the England team for kickboxing. And I just kind of got bored of it, so I wanted to mix it up, and I started doing the whole mixed martial arts, and yeah, it's ignited my passion for it again. Do you know what I mean? So you can create. It's like creating new tricks, like jiu-jitsu. You can mix your stand-up into wrestling and then take it to the ground. Do you know what I mean?
It's a bit more
freedom.
Like,
there's more freedom. So, like I said, it's a creative thing that you can generally do on your own. That's why I think it appeals to me.
Just going back a little bit, you said there that you travelled to the World Championships with the England team.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's seen as a solo sport because you're fighting on your own. But how was that being part of a team? Did it change the dynamics?
I guess so, yeah, because you're representing a team. Obviously, you do it on your own. You go into the ring on your own. You go into the cage on your own. But you're always like part of a club. You're always part of that environment. Same with skateboarding. Like, you're doing it on your own, but you're still part of that culture. Yeah. Your friends are there. You go to skate parks or you go on trips together as a team. But essentially, you aren't doing it on your own.
Right.
So I guess it's a blend. Like, you don't. When it's football, for example, like, you have to be a part of a team. You can't just. I mean, you can kick a ball against the wall, but how long can you do that for?
Yeah.
It'll get boring, won't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it's just different. It's just different.
And obviously, there's been the rise of mixed martial arts over the past few years. People like Conor McGregor making it like into maybe a household sport that it maybe wasn't before. How have you seen that change in the last few years as well, having been part of the sport?
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, McGregor's like the face of the whole combat sports world now, isn't he? So he's definitely made it like a household name, like you say.
I suppose when you're saying that you do it now, there's no one going, what's that kind of thing? They've got a bit more idea of what it is.
To be honest with you, I think before, like, you've got your boxing and such, which is seen, it's an Olympic sport, it's more accepted, and I don't think at that point, before McGregor came about and made it to be what it is, it was as accepted as what it is now. Like, if you said you did mixed martial arts, you'd be like, oh, you're a cage fighter or whatever. People got a bit like, oh, it's a bit
scrapping.
Yeah. It's not like a regulated thing or anything. They probably didn't know too much about it, but obviously with the rise of McGregor and the UFC and such, people have sort of done their own research and found out that actually there is regulations, there is like governing bodies behind it, and it is like a authorised sport. So
in terms of, you said it's a mixture of sports, does it lend itself to one type more than others, or is it literally anyone with one background?
The mixed martial arts?
Yeah.
So you've got people that would be wrestlers, you've got people that would be strikers, or people that would be more jiu-jitsu based, and they all have like a little blend of everything. Okay. But there'd be one specific, I guess, sport that they did before they went into it. So like, I was boxing and kickboxing, so I'd be classed as a striker.
Right. Okay.
And then I'd probably be more anti-wrestling. Do you know what I mean? So I'd rather stand up like McGregor, whereas McGregor fought Habib, didn't he, last? And Habib's more of a wrestler, so he wanted to take him to the ground and work the ground game. Yeah. But McGregor wanted to stand up, so it's the clash, isn't it?
Yeah. So you fight people from the different backgrounds. It's not like you're fighting people from similar backgrounds.
No. It's all different backgrounds, but it's just mixed into one.
Oh, cool. That sounds really interesting. Like the way that is it quite a modern sport in terms of its origins as well, mixed martial arts, or is it just seem modern because of the way it's only just come to light in the last few years?
Well, I think from the dawn of man we've always like fought and stuff, like the Romans and Vikings and all that. It's just kind of in our blood, isn't it? Like it's what we've always done, but I guess it's more regulated these days, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? There's rules and such. You can't do certain things, obviously. But I think when the UFC first started, there was certain rules where you could kind of just do anything. And I think there was like, we probably need to change this, guys.
Yeah. And like nowadays, if you're saying skateboarding and mixed martial arts, I know you do a few other things on the side, like. Yeah. But how's your time split nowadays?
At the minute, because I guess the weather's not as great, I do train a lot more. But I skate probably 3 or 4 times a week, and that's like 2-3 hours a time. Right. But then if I'm training, I usually train in the evening. So I'm doing like 8 to 10 sessions a week, and there could be an hour and a half each, or an hour. It just depends. But when summer comes around, I'm skating more. Yeah. You know, because I like to get outside in the sunshine and just be outside with my friends, really. Yeah,
and is skateboarding, is there still like competitions and stuff like that you get involved with?
Yeah. Sometimes I do generally take part more in filming videos or doing like photos and stuff. I'm more that type of like skater. More that style of skater than a competition skater. But generally, every now and then, I will pop to maybe a local competition or a regional little skate jam or something just to show my face.
Yeah, just keep your toe in the water, kind of.
Yeah, just to say hello to other people that you've met down the line.
Yeah, and noticed you've set a business called Active Sports, which I was reading a bit about, and it seems like it's taking. And correct me if I'm wrong, but taking sports into schools, but it seems to have that focus on your background of like the more individualistic kind of sports. Still a bit of football in there, but it's bringing these alternative sports into the schools by the sounds of it.
Yeah, that's right. So it kind of all fell into place, really. Like I said, when I was at university, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and then it just kind of clicked. I was like, I want to do something that I enjoy. So I thought, right, what do I enjoy? I enjoy doing my skating. So I was like, I'd like to maybe teach it because I know what it's done for me. And I thought if I could pass that on to like the kids and give them a taste of what I've experienced, because I've had a great life so far. Yeah. Just from doing something I've enjoyed. So I thought, this would be to get kids interested in something like this. Yeah. Give them that opportunity. Why not? So I kind of fell into that, and then obviously I got better with my martial arts, and I thought, right, I'll introduce these sports into it, and then. I remember I got a mobile skate park where we get ramps and such, and I've got them stored at my unit, but we take them to schools, and we let the school kids come on the scooters or the BMX or the rollerblades. So we've involved those in, and it just kind of built from there. And it is all alternative sports or action sports that kids can do. Yeah. On their own.
I was going to say, I saw the picture of the ramps and stuff in the school playground, and I thought if that had turned up when I was a kid, you'd be all over it.
That's it. Like I take it to quite a lot of schools, and the kids, it's just packed all the time. Yeah. And I think the schools should get more involved in stuff like this, because it's like I say, I wasn't a kid that really liked doing team sports, and there's a lot of kids out there that don't. Yeah. So to give them the opportunity to be a part of something like this, where they can do it on their own, That's why I guess I've been going for 10 years. Yeah. It's this 10th year now that I've been running Active Sports.
And something that I didn't realise, well, you mentioned there, like the creativity and stuff like that, and the kids who want individualistic kind of sports. But I was reading somewhere that cities are now being built to have almost street furniture that is skateboard friendly within it in some places.
Yeah.
I found that really interesting, because I would just want, that's a cool bench or whatever, but actually to think that people are building these cities for young kids to come through and use as ramps and stuff like that is quite interesting.
Well, it's like it's more accepted now, isn't it? Because obviously it's in the Olympics. There was the boom of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater game. But it's like mixed martial arts skateboarding, I guess, was seen as antisocial. But if you actually look at the positive outcomes behind it, it's a physical activity, kids are learning key skills, they're learning life skills, like just simple things like standing at the top of a ramp and waiting your turn to go. That's a life skill. It's like opening a door for someone, know. And I've learned so much from skateboarding and martial arts that I probably wouldn't have learned in school. It's given me it humbles you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So you learn a discipline. You learn, like I said, just simple things like waiting your turn in a line, or giving someone the opportunity to go first before you. Do you know what I mean? It's just it keeps you humble, I think.
Yeah. Well, I was reading as well that Hull was trying to become a skate city. I don't know if that's still a thing that they're trying to do. But
No, it is. It's skate friendly.
Yeah. Because there's like 10 parks, isn't there, around the city? And the idea is that they'll all be connected by street furniture and stuff like that. So
eventually.
Yeah, so that you can almost go from one part to another, skating all the way as well. Which...
Yeah. It became skate friendly a couple of years ago. Basically, the Hull City Council worked alongside one of the owners of the skate parks in the city to help do this. He did predominantly a lot of the work, but obviously I helped him out. Went to meetings and such, and we got it to be skate friendly and just explained like what I did in schools and how it's helped me, and like it's a really good physical activity rather than seen as an antisocial activity.
Yeah.
So, but obviously there's certain times when you can and can't skate. Like if someone's sat on a bench, you can't say, "Excuse me, can you move because it's skate friendly." That means, you can skate at certain times when it isn't probably in use and you won't get into trouble for it. Yes. Use your initiative. That's what it's about.
Yeah. And that's quite interesting because obviously you're bringing this into the schools, but then the kids can see this outside the schools as well. It being active, which is really good for them, I suppose. And then finally, just on terms of what you're involved with, I've got down parallel skateboards.
Yep.
Is this a relatively new venture by the looks of it?
So how parallel came about is basically I like I said, I had this sponsor. I wasn't really happy with it at the time, and then I got like a flow sponsor where I wasn't directly on the team. I just got helped out with boards, and I just thought, do you know what? I could probably do this on my own. I like to be creative, and nothing was going on within that sponsor. And the other sponsor that I had before was back and forth with what they wanted to do. And I thought, I want to do video parts, I want to do adverts, I like doing it, and that's what I've always done. And I thought, right, let's look at maybe starting my own company. There's two of the guys involved, so there's two of the directors, but obviously it's my business, but there's two directors that help out and they get a say in the company and what they want to do and what they want to see. But I just thought, why not try to do it on my own? Do something myself and help my friends out at the same time, and maybe one day when it grows they'll have like a solid job from it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's no money in it. You're just doing it for the love of it and the enjoyment. Like kind of always what I've done anyway.
It's just kind of like a content production kind of thing at the moment.
Yeah, there's something to put your video project to now, rather than it just going on the internet to waste. It's going towards a brand.
Yeah.
There's a purpose.
And like the community can come to this person, watch cool videos, that kind of thing, and see other skaters and that kind of thing.
It's a company, so like we sell products and we do videos that go on YouTube and adverts that will go in magazines and such. It's not like a place.
Right, okay.
It's like a company like Coca-Cola or something that sell their products.
Right, okay.
That's what it is.
So that's cool, and obviously it's quite interesting that you've gone from one end of the thing where you were looking to be sponsored and now you're at the other side almost helping out young talent.
Yeah, that's it. It's the journey, isn't it? It's just how it goes, and if Parallel does become a bit bigger later on, like I want to help my friends out. I want to find kids that maybe want to do something with skating, and if they fit the image and the brand, why not help them out? Like give them an opportunity.
So just on that note, where do you see what you're doing at the moment going in the future? Is Parallel the focus, or is it?
I think the schoolwork's always the focus. Obviously, I guess that's like my main business.
Yeah.
Parallel's like a side venture, but don't get me wrong, we work hard on it.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it and have fun with it and see where it'll just grow organically. Then I think. Yeah. Obviously you got to put the hard work in, but it'll just grow organically, like what Active did.
Yeah. And we spoke to Amy on the last podcast. She was saying obviously she's an actress, and there's a lot of times where she doesn't have work because of the way that industry works. You've either got a job or you haven't.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the fact that sometimes there might not be a job on or things like that? Is it because you're literally living your hobby as your career that you can just go out and it doesn't matter? You can just go out and enjoy yourself anyway, or do you have other interests that keep you busy?
Well, obviously, like I've got a mortgage and bills to pay. I'm an adult, and although my hobby is my job, it's still my business. It's still a business. I've still got to get money to come in. So If I'm not doing stuff in the schools, I'm a personal trainer as well.
Okay.
So there's active sports and there's active health and fitness. And that basically personal training qualification came from me wanting to get better as myself as an athlete. And I thought, well, if I can train myself and understand it all, then why not do a course in it? And then I thought, well, I can make a bit of money as well.
Yeah.
So I started active health and fitness on the side. So I do boxing and kickboxing, coaching and like personal training to obviously get people healthier as well and give them nutritional advice and such. So I do that on the side as well. Like at the minute, I'm working in schools maybe 4 sessions a week, and then over the winter the personal training picks up a bit more.
Yeah.
So but maybe from next year I'm fully booked again in the schools.
Right. Okay.
You know, like I've got after school clubs, got lunchtime clubs, PE lessons. So it swings and roundabouts, but it just balances itself out.
I spoke to another business owner on the podcast as well, and he's got a digital marketing agency, but he's got a few side projects and stuff like that. And we were speaking off mic, and he was saying that he couldn't just do one thing. That just doesn't fit with him. He can't just do one thing. He's got to have a few other. Do you feel like you're like that? Like
Yeah,
you've got to have.
Yeah, you've got to have certain pots of funding, money. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't. I can't remember who said it, but generally a millionaire isn't a millionaire by just one source of funding. He's got other networks, do you know what I mean, that bring the money in. And I'm not saying I'm a millionaire, because I'm not. I wish I was. Because if I was, I'd do a lot of good with it.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, you've got to have different networks of where the money come from, I think.
Yeah, and I find as well, because I work on a few different projects, but sometimes I'll be stuck on something over here, not realising I'm stuck, but then when I go and work on something else, just by working on that, you go, actually, that links to that, and that helps me get around that problem. So actually, by having more than one project, it's beneficial to you in more than one way as well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So, coming to the end of this, I sent across earlier the 4 questions, but I know you've been super busy today.
I briefly had a little glance at them.
Yeah.
So, fire away and I'll see if I can answer them.
That's alright.
So, in my head.
So the first question is like, who's been your biggest inspiration throughout your career? Could be skateboarding, martial art, or completely unrelated.
Obviously, I've had let's go from skating. Obviously, skating, you've got your favourite skateboarders who influence you, and you kind of base your tricks and styles off them. So I've had influences in skateboarding, martial arts, obviously the same. But I'd just say my family, because they've been really supportive and they've helped me to believe in what I'm doing is right. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. They've always said do what makes you happy, and at least you've tried. If it doesn't work out, always have a contingency plan. So that's why I went. So I guess I've got my my qualifications in landscaping and land-based engineering. So if anything was ever to fail, like I've always got backups, like my personal training, or I do a bit of media, like photography and video. I've got that as well, where I do bits and pieces. So yeah, my family, I think.
Again, spoken to quite a few people that I've spoken to who's taken like non-traditional career routes, and all of that has predominantly come from family supporting them, because when you're saying I don't want to just go and be a lawyer or a doctor, it does take the support of people around you, because they're the ones who are going to, ultimately, if it doesn't work out, they've got to help you out.
Yeah, they've got the brunt of it, I guess.
Yeah, so that's really good. Then what has been your biggest learning from your career?
Sometimes, obviously, bumps in the road happen and you think, oh, is this actually going to work? But then you just carry on, I think. It's all about being persistent. Yeah. And you'll prevail, I think. Just persistence.
It's really good. Yeah. And then, what's one tip for success in building your personal brand? So, how do you make sure that people know the name Paul Regan?
Hard work.
Yeah.
It's just hard work. Anything, the cost of entry to anything is hard work. So as long as you're out there marketing, doing stuff on social media, networking with the right people, it'll fall in place if it's meant to be.
And do people from each of your different worlds in skateboarding, do they know you almost like, the skateboarding guy does mixed martial arts, and do the people in mixed martial arts know that you do the skateboarding kind of thing?
Yeah, it got like that. It started crossing over when I got, I guess, better at the. So I was obviously skating first, but when I got better at my boxing and kickboxing, I maybe won a couple of titles. People were like, "Oh, it's the skateboarding fighter." Do you know what I mean? And then when I was like, obviously doing my sessions like at the gym, boxing or whatever, they was like, "Oh, you skate? That's pretty different." I was like, "Yeah." So like, they get interested. They're not like asking me about that. So
Oh, that's cool. And then finally, what is the best moment in your career so far?
Probably, I don't know, because I guess if I was to say right now, I'd say looking back and seeing what I've achieved with just following my heart, do you know what I mean? Going with my gut instinct on just doing what I want to do that makes me happy. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'd say to anyone, just do what seems right to you at the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's probably the best thing in my career is just looking back and doing things that have made me happy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I suppose as well with like not having a goal when you first out, it was just like you didn't know what was going to happen.
No. It's like being at school, isn't it? Like you don't know what you want to do when you're 16. Like it didn't happen for me until I was 22 when 21 when I started doing the coaching. I was like, this is pretty cool actually. This is what I want to, do. And I've always done my own personal skating, like as an athlete for my sponsors. But like I've had my bread and butter, money and business, which is doing the coaching. So like I said, that's my contingency plan if my career as an athlete didn't work out anywhere. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
That's brilliant. So yeah, if people want to find out more about you and what you're up to, how can they find you on social media?
I've got a public account for my skateboarding and mixed martial arts, which is Regan Hull, REGANHULL. Obviously Hull because I live here.
Yeah.
There's a Parallel Skateboards one, which is Parallel Skateboard Co. There's Active Sports, which is at Active Sports Hull, and Active Health and Fitness one as well, which is Active Health and Fitness.
Brilliant.
So right. Yeah, they're all on there. Everything's on Instagram. To be honest with you, if you just went on my public one, Regan Hull, like you probably find the other handles there for the businesses or whatever else.
Right, that's brilliant. Thank you very much for your time today.
Is that all right?
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thanks. What did you think to that? Another interesting character who started off down a more traditional route, but quickly realised that wasn't for him, so he made a change and is now doing what he loves every day. Remember, if you enjoyed this interview or any of the others from the back catalogue, make sure to follow the podcast, leave a review, and share it with the people you know. This is, unfortunately, the last episode before Christmas, but I will be returning in the new year, possibly with a few changes too. If you'd like to keep up to date with everything I get up to, including the podcast, make sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at the MJ Social. But for now, and until next time, thanks for listening.